So I'm starting to see a lot of people hype up selling AI digital products as the next big way to make money online. They basically teach you to whip up a PDF with AI, sell it on your own website or using Gumroad for $27, and post Instagram Reels or run ads to get traffic for it. Now, as someone who've made over $7.3 million selling digital products, and I've sold various many different types of digital products and became a multi-millionaire from doing this business, I absolutely love digital products. But the way these other channels are teaching it, right, whipping up a 100% AI made PDF in literal seconds and selling it for $27 or whatever price point around there, is that really the best way? I don't think so. So in this video, I'll show you what I think is the best way to sell digital products using AI. Now, before we move forward, I just want to say that nothing I say in my videos are financial advice. I'm not guaranteeing any results. Although I made a lot of money during this business, right? I've taught a lot of people who's making great money in this business as well. That is not a lie, but that doesn't mean you will too, right? It depends on how much you put into it. So I cannot guarantee anything. And again, this is not financial advice. I have a full disclaimer in the description, so please go ahead and read it and understand this. I'm just a random dude on YouTube, and this is just my opinion. So with that being said, this is what most other channels that I'm seeing are teaching, right? When it comes to digital products. So first, you come up with a random product idea. Then you whip up a product with AI within seconds. And a lot of people are talking about like, oh, just, whip up a image of a flower using AI or an image of a bear, right? And you can bundle this into a PDF and sell it as a product. That's what they're essentially teaching. And then they teach you to list it on Gumroad or on your own website and essentially show it with, a bunch of short form videos using Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or run ads to market these products. Now, the problem with this approach is that if you come up with a random idea, there's absolutely no proof that that product will sell. Whipping up a product with AI, if you do that, there's a 99% chance that it's extremely low quality, right? Anything 100% made with AI at the moment pretty much sucks. If you list a product on Gumroad or on your own website, you essentially have to do all the work, like getting the traffic, you setting up the website, doing the payment processing, customer service, refunds, everything, right? There's no traffic on the website at all, so you have to go get that. And marketing your product with short form content on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or even running ads. If you do this as your primary marketing method, you have to keep pumping out content or spend money to acquire sales. So let's break this down one by one, and let me show you what I think is a better way of doing this. So the first one, just come up with a random idea, create a product, and start selling it. This is something that I really disagree with, okay? You never want to create something just because it's a cool idea. You always validate if your idea is already selling on whatever market you're trying to sell, okay? So how do you do this? Well, you want to check the websites you're planning to sell on, okay? So if you're trying to sell on Etsy, you should be doing market research on Etsy and trying to find other products that are similar to the idea that you have and see if those products are already selling. If you're trying to sell your product on Amazon, then you should go and do market research there. If you're trying to sell your product on your own website, then you just have to find other websites that are selling similar things to get proof of concept that your idea is actually something people are looking for. Because if you find a product similar to your idea already selling, then that is proof that if you do something similar to what they're doing, then you can also make money. But if you don't find other people doing that idea, 99% chance your idea doesn't sell, right? There's a 1% chance maybe you were the first one to ever thought of that idea and you're this genius and that idea is going to blow up. But the other 99% is that someone else did thought of that idea, right? And someone else did try doing that and it just wasn't profitable, and that's why no one's doing it. So how do you do this, right? Well, if you are, again, trying to sell on Etsy, you should be checking on Etsy. But in my case, I'm going to show you an example with Amazon because I love selling ebooks as my digital product. That's my favorite digital product. So that's my preferred business model. And I'm going to explain why I like that business model more later on. But for now, for market research, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Amazon and type in whatever topic that I'm trying to see if it's profitable. So in this case, let's say that I want to create a book on decluttering, okay? So I type in a topic and I start looking at page 1. Now I have this tool called BookBeam that tells me how much these books are making, right? So if you see a lot of books making good money, like $49 a day, $2,000 a day, that's already proof that decluttering is a profitable topic. But these are paid tools, right? So if you don't have BookBeam, the software, all you're looking at is just if it has a lot of reviews, right? If it has a lot of reviews, most likely it is profitable. And these books have a lot of reviews. Scrolling down over here, all of these books are very profitable with a bunch of reviews, right? So you can do the same thing with Etsy, but essentially we're just looking for signs that those products are selling well. You have to do this before you go and make the product. Another example here is, let's say I want to create a book on parenting for dads, right? So I search for parenting for dads, and there's a bunch of products with, obviously a lot of reviews, and BookBeam is telling me that it's very, very profitable. Again, if you guys want to check out BookBeam, the link is in the description. But in your case, like if you're not selling on Amazon, obviously you don't need it. But the bottom line is we're just looking for signs, okay? And there's a lot of parenting for dads books that are selling. So now at least we clear step one, which is confirming demand, right? Then we can move on to actually creating the product. So never skip the first step. And now we move on to step two, right? So this is where a lot of people say, oh, you can whip up a PDF with AI, or whatever product you're making. If you're making an ebook, people just say you can write the whole thing with AI, right? If you're selling a PDF image, then people just tell you to whip up the entire thing with AI. So most YouTube videos I've watched shows you how to make your digital product in literal seconds. And this is my honest opinion on that. If something can be made in seconds, 99.9999% chance it is absolute garbage. So it's actually a good thing that something is hard to do. It's actually not a good thing necessarily that something is super easy that anyone can do. Because there's this concept called the barrier of entry. If anyone can do this in literal seconds, then you'll be competing with everyone. Because what's stopping from everyone else to do the same thing? Nothing, right? There's nothing stopping them because there's no barrier of entry. So if you just do the same thing, which is just whipping up, AI products in seconds, then there's nothing special about your product versus everyone else also doing the same thing. And this is why people complain about saturation, because like literally, again, you're not doing anything different than literally everyone else. And that is why you're competing with everyone else. So again, I love AI, right? I teach how to use AI, and I love digital product as a business model, but there's the right way and the wrong way of doing it. And just like whipping up your product within seconds is not the right way of doing so, in my humble opinion. So what most people do is they essentially do step one, which is, see what's selling on Etsy, Amazon. They look at the best sellers. So they do that part. But then what they do is they essentially rip off the bestseller on that platform, but they make a shittier version with AI. And that is like the worst approach ever. Now, what you should do instead is find what's already selling, right? So we did that, and you make a better product than what is already selling, right? Instead of making a shittier ripoff with AI, you make something better, or at least something unique, right? And you can use AI to do this process. You can use AI as an assistant, but not as a replacement. It's not something that will completely do the work for you, but you'll work with AI to do this step. Because the bottom line is, if you want to make real money in business, you have to make good products. There's really no way around it, right? You can't make money selling shit, at least for a long time. Like short term, yes, it might work, but then you're just spinning wheels. Like, you sell crappy products, right? You get bad reviews, it dies off, and then you go on to make a new crappy product and you're just spinning your wheels. Your income's not going to grow doing that, right? So if you want to make real money for a very, very long time, something sustainable, something that grows, you have to focus on high quality products. So the big question here is, what makes a product good, right? Because a lot of people don't understand what is considered a good product, what is considered a bad product. So this is what you want to understand, is that people buy things to solve a problem. People buy anything, okay? Anything in the world, when you buy something, when you spend money, you're always solving a problem, okay? You're not spending money for no reason, okay? You're trying to solve a problem, whatever that is. So your product is a solution to people's problems. You want to remember this, okay? So as an example here, when people buy gym membership, no one's buying gym membership just because they love to go to the gym. Like no one loves to just go to the gym and hang out, right? The real reason people go to the gym is the byproduct. What they get out of it is that they're solving the problem of low confidence, right? Because they get fit, they get more confident, or health concerns, or maybe it's stress relief, whatever. Those are the solutions that they're buying by buying a gym membership. No one wants just a gym membership, right? They want a fit body. They want more confidence, right? They want a healthy life or healthier life, right? That's what they're buying when they buy a gym membership. Same as coffee, right? People don't just buy coffee, for the sake of buying coffee, right? Some people do buy coffee for the taste. I get that. So it's not 100% black and white. But a lot of times people buy coffee, not just for the taste, but they're solving the problem of fatigue, right? And lack of energy. They want focus, alertness, productivity. Those are the solutions that they are purchasing. So people buy things to solve a problem. Okay, that's what I'm trying to illustrate here. So this is a digital product example. If people buy AI generated printables like, wall arts, right? They're paying money for the convenience and the fact that they don't have to design the design themselves. So again, they're paying for time and convenience. So the problem it solves is saving time. They don't have to do the designing, and wall art also makes a home look better, right? That's aesthetics. So selling wall art or selling images, as a business model is getting popular nowadays. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. What I'm saying is you cannot just whip up a generic flower image or a bear image, slap it on a wall art and try to make money. Like, again, if everyone else is doing the same thing and if your image is nothing special, why would anyone buy that? So the image has to be unique, right? Something cooler and better than what's on the market. Because if you have an image that is basically the same as everyone else, then what problem are you actually solving? Like, the problem is already solved by millions of other people with the same product. So why are you trying to solve the same problem? You have to solve a new problem at that point, right? So let's say you're trying to sell parenting books. The problem you solve by selling a parenting book is maybe something like, the parents are stressed, they have a lot of guilt, not knowing how to parent the kids, right? Maybe the kids aren't listening, or the parents have the fear of messing the kids up by not parenting them properly. And by teaching them better parenting strategies, you can help them solve the problem. So that's essentially why the parents seek out these parenting books. So you really have to understand why people are buying these products in the first place. But if you don't do this step, right, of identifying what kind of problems you're trying to solve, and you just rely 100% on AI, like some of the other videos that I've watched, and they're teaching you how to do this. They literally give you a prompt like, just make me a parenting book for dads with charts, diagram, images, make it 30 pages, give it to me in a PDF. And they're like, oh, now you got the product and you can start selling it. Like, that is what they're saying in these videos. But let me show you what kind of product you get, what kind of quality you get, right, with just a prompt like that. This is literally what I get. Okay, parenting book for dads, chapter 1, key parenting tip, 1, 2, 3 with some charts. It's just absolute garbage. I mean, this is a really, really bad example, but hopefully you see my point of how if you rely 100% on AI, it's very rare that you actually have a good product. Compared to that, right? If you actually work with AI, do some back and forth, right? Use your brain, don't just rely on AI 100%. You can actually create a pretty damn good product. This is how that could look like. Okay, so I am chatting with ChatGPT over here. This is my prompt. I'm creating a parenting book for dads. It'll be about 30 pages. The sole focus of this book should be to solve the common problems dads have in their parenting journey for every age of the kid. First, we have to identify what are the most common problems dads are encountering. Please research the web and compile the top 7 problems. Okay, so first we have to identify the problems, right? So we got 7 problems here: work-life balance, time constraints, communication across ages, feeling inadequate, mental health, stress, burnout, discipline, and 7 problems. Now, once I got that, I asked, next, based on those problems, create a book outline that solves all of these problems in detail. Don't add surface level information everyone knows. The goal is to make every page as in-depth and filled with actionable information as much as possible. It can go over 30 pages if needed, right? And this is what we got. So part 1, the dad operating system. It's about 10 pages. It talks about the evidence-based parenting stack, family communication, discipline, this and that, right? And so we got a super detailed outline over here. And these chapters hits exactly the core pain point, exactly why people are buying these books. If you skip this step, right, again, you're just writing up random chapters on random topics, and usually those become fluff, and that's why the readers gets pissed off when it comes to, buying books, right? If you're selling books as a digital product, because you didn't identify the core problems. So we have a super detailed outline. And from here, I asked, now write the entire part 1, section 1. So I'm just generating one section at a time. And we have a really good first draft, right, of part 1, section 1. And what I'm going to do here is I can continue to generate the next section and the next section until I'm done with the entire book. But that is not the entire process, right? From there, I have to do a lot of back and forth. Like if I don't like a section, I'm going to ask AI to change it, right? Or I can just rewrite it myself. I can add more stuff. I can take more stuff out. I can add some diagrams, more images, basically to improve the content even more and work with AI. And if you can work with AI like that, you can actually create a very high quality product. But working with AI, taking those extra steps is way more work than just one click generating an AI product within a couple seconds, right? And that is why not a lot of people want to do it, because the barrier of entry is harder. And again, that's actually a good thing, right? Because if something is so easy that anyone can do it, everyone will do it. And if everyone does the same thing, what makes your product any different, right? Everyone can spam AI garbage into the marketplace. If you do the same thing, you're just gonna get buried. But not everyone is willing to put in the extra time to make a good product. So if you're willing to do that, you just gonna stand out and you can actually make some real money in this business. So something being a bit harder to do is actually a good thing. I like ebooks as a digital product because people perceive it as it's hard to create, right? When it's actually not that hard. But people do perceive it as hard, and so they don't really go into it. So there's less competition, in my opinion, compared to other digital products as well. But it also allows more freedom to customize the information, the visuals, to make it unique. Like you can have the same Parenting for Dad book, but you can have so many different angles, so many different strategies, so many different, images, visuals, even just having the book cover different, right? That's a way for you to stand out. So there's a lot of customization that's possible, and it makes it very easy to solve the problems of the audience because people, again, literally seek out books to solve whatever problem they have in their life. So I do like books for that reason, but you can apply this concept with pretty much any digital product you're selling. But the bottom line takeaway is this: if something is easy to do, everyone's doing it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. If you really want to make a lot of money and have longevity in business, then you have to suck it up and make something better than the average. You want to be better than the average, right? Not just doing the exact same thing, spamming AI products that you made within seconds. So people always say in pretty much any business model, right? Not just in digital products, literally anything, any business model. People always say, oh, the average person doesn't make money in this. Like, that is so stupid. Like, why are you trying to be average? Why are you trying to do the bare minimum required? Because if an average person can make money in that business, because average is like the majority of people, right? So if most people are making money in whatever business model, then that business model is a scam. It's called a pyramid scheme, and it's not going to last for a long time. Building a business is supposed to be hard, right? That's why you make so much money, more than how much you can make in a normal job, because you're doing something that not a lot of people are willing to do. But the last thing I want to say about this is that I'm not saying you necessarily have to be smarter than most people. You don't necessarily need to have any extra skills or experiences or nothing. All you need is the willingness to learn the skills required and stick to doing something that's more than the bare minimum. As long as you don't just follow the crowd and try to be average, and you're just showing up every single day, consistently taking action, then that is all you really need to succeed in business. So that was my rant there, but let's move on to the next point. So after you create your product, people tell you to sell it on your own website, like Gumroad, Stan Store, your own WordPress site, or those other places, okay? You can definitely do this. I'm not against it. But I don't think this is suited for beginners. And here's why. Because if you create your own website, you essentially have to do everything, okay? You got to build the site, which if you're using Gumroad Stan Store, yes, I get it. It's a template. It's easy. But then, you got to take payments and you got to get traffic, because Gumroad Stan Store, your own WordPress site, doesn't have any traffic. You got to bring all the traffic to you. And then you got to do customer service. Even after you sell the product, your work is not done because you got to do refunds. And basically, it's a lot of moving parts, okay? And for beginners, I don't think it's something that you should be dealing with. So, a lot of people say, oh, your website is better because you have more control. But you got to understand, more control means more work, okay? So yes, it's good to expand into it once you move beyond the beginner phase. But I feel like for absolute beginners trying to make money online, maybe it's not the best way. What I recommend for beginners instead is to leverage third-party sites like Etsy, Amazon, where it has existing traffic. People are already going there looking for products, right? So there's existing traffic. You don't have to generate traffic yourself. You just have to learn how to show up in front of those people. So, for books, I sell my books on Amazon, right? And by doing so, they provide the traffic. There's literally like millions of people going to Amazon every single day looking for books, okay? So I just got to show up in front of them. They give me a website, so I don't have to build a website because I can sell directly on Amazon. Amazon's a website. They do the fulfillment, payment processing, even customer service. I don't even have to do none of that. All I got to do is make the product, right? Make the book, list it on Amazon, and I still have to market it, right? So I still have to do my own effort of marketing, but it also comes with a lot of organic traffic that I can tap into being on Amazon. So let me show you how crazy Amazon's organic traffic is. Okay, so you can actually type in any topic you want, and you can go here and sort by publication date. So these are essentially showing the newest books, right? Like it just came out or it's in pre-order because this is, release date is May 19, 2026. So it's not even out yet. And despite being not even out, it's already making sales, right? Not a lot of sales, but some sales just being on Amazon. And some of these are authority figures. I get it. They have existing traffic. But a lot of these are normal self-publishers like me, right? Doing this behind the scenes, and they have 0 reviews, right? Again, just published, already making some sales here just by being on Amazon. And this is another one. It just came out, no reviews, not the best book cover, still making some sales. And it's probably from organic sales from Amazon. And these are some example books of people who's doing this, self-publishing, like selling ebooks as a digital product business that are doing extremely well, right? So this book is doing $78 to $83 every single day, thousands of dollars a month. This book over here, same thing, thousands of dollars a month just from this one book, right? 101 things every young athlete should know. Pretty easy book to create. And this one, Inspiring Stories for Amazing Boys, short story, hundreds of dollars every single day. So tens of thousands of dollars a month. I mean, this is like 15 to 20K a month just from this one book. There's a good chance they used AI for this too. So if you want to sell your books on your own website, I'm not against it, but I do think you should do both, right? Sell it on your own website and also use third-party, sites like Etsy, Amazon, because you get a lot of traffic and they do a lot of work for you, which is great for beginners. So I would recommend you start there and expand into selling on your own website later. So the last point people teach is you want to sell your products, digital products, with, shorts like on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or run ads. And this advice, I personally have no issues with. Marketing your product is very important. Even if you're on Amazon and has some organic traffic coming in, you still have to do your part, right? You don't just rely on organic traffic, you do your own marketing as well. So I like that other videos are also talking about this as well. So if you combine both organic traffic plus your own marketing, this allows you to be more passive long-term as you rank higher in the algorithm. So first, you have to market your product, right? You might, do social media marketing, run ads, but by marketing your product, it ranks higher on Amazon, right? And the higher it ranks on Amazon, if you're selling books or on Etsy, it doesn't matter. If you rank higher in the algorithm, you get more organic traffic and the more passive it gets long-term. All right, so that was my take on some of the things people are teaching when it comes to selling digital products and making money from it. Bottom line is I'm not against using AI. I'm not against selling digital products. In fact, I love both so much, right? I love AI. I love digital products. It absolutely changed my life. But the way you use AI, the way you sell digital products, right? The way you approach the business, I just don't agree with some of the advice people are talking about. But if you do it the right way, it can be an amazing business model. In fact, I think it's the best business model for beginners. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, this digital product business, selling books online, is a pretty cool business. I kind of want to learn more about it. Then I do have a coaching program. It's the first link in the description, so you can go and check it out. You can watch a short video here. You can apply for a free discovery call to see if this program is a good fit for you. These are some of our student results. This student over here hit 10K per month, right, doing this business. This other student made over $161,000 in his first year. And this other student made over $1 million in actual royalties. This is how much you get paid in your bank account from doing this business, selling books online, which is pretty cool. But again, obviously, these aren't average results. Like, I'm not guaranteeing anything, right? You can make more. If you work hard, you can make less. Who knows, right? But we do have a lot of students making a lot of money with this. So the final disclaimer is that this is obviously a paid coaching program. We don't work with those looking for a get rich quick scheme because this is a real business and a real business takes time to build. We don't work with entitled or rude people, and we don't work with people that we generally don't think we can help. So if we feel like we cannot help you for because of whatever situation, once we determine that on the call, we'll just tell you honestly that, hey, maybe this is not a right fit, right? We don't try to sell people that may not be a good fit for us. That is it. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.